Good morning. This call is number 2022-24217 in the interest of Nico, Blake, and Avery Lee. Please raise your right hand to be sworn, ma'am. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right. Please state your name and your relationship to the children.
Lautria Alexander. I'm the mother of my 3 kids, Nico, Blake, and Avery Lee.
All right. And representing the Attorney General, State of Texas.
Yes.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Court will note that the non-custodial parent is Carnell Lee. Mr. Lee was personally served on May 19, 2022 at 9:17 a.m. at 5226 Breckenridge Drive in Houston, Harris County, Texas. And he has not appeared to file an answer. Is that correct, Ms. Sharma?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
We'll proceed by default.
Yes, Judge. I would like to call Miss Latria Alexander.
All right.
Miss Alexander, you have 3 children who are before the court. Can you please tell us who the father is?
Carnell Lee.
And are you and Mr. Lee currently married?
No.
Have you ever been married?
No.
And did you and Mr. Lee previously live together?
Yes, we did.
And did Mr. Lee sign the birth certificate for the children?
Yes, he did.
And is there a possibility that another person could be the father of any of the children?
No, ma'am.
And you're asking the court to name Mr. Lee as the biological father of Nico, Blake, and Avery?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to appoint you both as joint conservators of the children?
Yes.
And all 3 children currently reside with you in Harris County?
Yes.
And you're asking the court to allow you to continue to maintain that primary residence for the children?
Yes.
And as far as visitation, are you asking the court to set a standard visitation every other weekend for Mr. Lee to visit the children?
Yes.
And where would pickup and drop off be?
It can be at my home.
Okay. And when did you and Mr. Lee, you all used to live together, you said, correct? When was the separation?
I moved out in October, like the middle of October 2021.
And since you and Mr. Lee separated in October 2021, has he been providing direct financial support for the children?
Yes.
How much does he pay you each month?
He was paying me $400 a month.
Okay. And was he employed when you all lived together?
Yes.
And does he still maintain the same employer since you all separated?
Yes.
And where was he working?
Well, he was actually working at Domino's, and then he picked up a job at which is safe delivery for Amazon company.
Okay. So, and he's currently still working at both employers?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And how long has he worked at Domino's?
About 6 years.
And how long has he worked at Amazon?
About almost 2 years.
Okay. And do you know what he, what days and how many hours he works at Domino's?
He works 3 days. They're rotating because his safe delivery rotates as well. So he works 3 days. He goes in about maybe at 9:30 and get off about 7:30.
Okay. And do you have any direct knowledge of how much he makes at Domino's?
$9 an hour.
And you said he works roughly 3 days a week?
Yes, he works 3 days a week at Domino's.
And was this the same employer that he worked at when you all were living together?
Yes.
Same schedule?
Well, he was working a little bit more because he was working at Centerpoint Energy, but he had lost his job at Centerpoint Energy.
Okay. And do you know what his his hourly pay is at Amazon through safe delivery?
Yes, $19 an hour.
And do you know how many hours he works at safe delivery?
I know he goes in, he has to be there at 10, and he usually clock out about 7:30 p.m.
Okay. And so would you agree that his gross monthly resources are $5,067 a month?
Gross, yes.
Okay. And how are the children covered under health insurance?
Well, they're covered under his health insurance, but I didn't have the ID cards because he just got them covered. So the ID cards hasn't came in as of yet.
Do you know when the effective date of that coverage is supposed to begin, Ms. Alexander?
January 1st, 2023.
Okay, but you have no information on that. as of now. But are the children currently covered under state insurance through your application?
Only Nico, because he gets SSI because of his disability, but the other
Okay.
two is not covered under Medicaid.
Okay, but you understand the court is going to order you to maintain the health insurance if it's not provided through Mr. Lee's employer. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you're asking the court to ask Mr. Lee to reimburse that at $221 a month beginning February 1
Reimburse me for,
for the medical, to reimburse the state for the medical.
well, he actually got them on his insurance as of January.
Right, but we don't have proof of that yet. Is that true, Ms. Alexander?
Correct.
Okay, so as far as you know, he could have told you that he's covered them, but we don't have any information that he is actually covering the children. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And are you asking the court to order him to reimburse that at $221 a month beginning February 1?
Yes.
And you agree to pay half of any uncovered health costs, is that right?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to set current child support at $1,197 to begin February 1?
Yes.
And Miss Alexander, do you know if Mr. Lee has any other children?
No, he doesn't.
And since you all separated, you stated that he has paid you $400 a month. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are you giving him credit for $6,400 in direct payments?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking the court to set back child support from October 17th, 2021 until today in the amount of $12,752 for all three children?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to set a payout at $114 a month to begin on February 1?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to bill court costs to Mr. Lee?
Yes.
And you reviewed and signed this order believing it's in the best interest of your children. Is that right, Miss Alexander?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Miss Alexander. Judge, I pass this witness.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you very much. You're free to
Thank
go, Miss Alexander.